order. We have the minutes on first, but I do want to, as a preliminary matter, introduce the new board member, Jared Whittingham, or Whittington, I'm sorry. So Mr. Whittington is the newest member. He's been appointed by the mayor to be the board's Senior Associate of Acoustics or Noise Specialist. We're very happy to have him here. His background and experience will prove invaluable in helping the board discuss and adjudicate noise complaints. He holds a master's degree in building science with a concentration in architectural acoustics from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, and a Bachelor of Science in Communication, concentration in audio production. For more than 13 years, he has provided consulting services to architects, engineers, developers, property owners in New York. And prior to that, performed similar services in Ohio. His work has included developing solutions to provide privacy and acoustically sensitive spaces such as offices and hotels, controlling environmental noise, mechanical noise, and vibrations, as well as working with acoustics of performance spaces. He plays guitar, bass guitar, and has composed music for documentary short films. His wife works for the New York Library for the Performing Arts at Lincoln Center, and their 22-year-old daughter currently lives and works in Los Angeles. Welcome.
Thank you.
The board is very appreciative to have you here for a number of reasons, not the least of which is to share workload. So we will talk with you about that in more detail later. So all right, so we're beginning with the minutes. And so I'll ask if there's a motion to adopt the minutes for the June meeting. And if not, if there's some.
I got an issue with that because they never really have been distributed electronically. We don't have a record of that.
No, they were distributed
Electronic?
electronically the
Right
day
after
after the last
oh,
meeting,
right.
August 23rd.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, apologies.
Okay, so was there a motion to adopt? Okay, all right, and a vote to approve. All right, and let's vote, thank you. So for the next set, is there a motion to adopt the minutes for the August 22nd meeting? Yeah, is that a question or motion?
Motion.
Motion, okay, great, all right, vote to approve? You, yes, you don't. You don't
Yeah.
vote. Thank you. All right, so unanimous, one abstention. All right, so the next thing on the agenda, we have, well, actually, I'm gonna ask if we could skip the third item for now and move to the request for cease and desist orders.
Sure.
Mr. Kukunis.
Okay, good morning. My name is Russell Kukunis, and I am the representative of the Department of Environmental Protection on the board. This month, DEP is requesting that the board issue 48 cease and desist orders related to failure to install backflow prevention devices. In each of these cases, the department has inspected the premises and determined that the installation of a backflow prevention device is required, and has issued a commissioner's order to the building owner requiring the installation of said devices. And when that order has not been complied with in each of these 48 cases, the department has issued a summons to the property owner, citing them for failing to install the required backflow prevention devices, and they have been adjudicated in violation, either by hearing or through default. And in each of these 48 cases, the building owner still currently has not complied with the order to install backflow prevention devices. So at this point, regarding each of these 48 locations, DEP is asking the board to issue an order to cease and desist.
Okay, So, are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve? Okay, and all in favor? One, two, three, four, five, 6, 8. Okay, thank you.
In addition, DEP's Bureau of Wastewater Treatment is asking the board to issue an order to cease and desist in the matter of Water Lilies Food Incorporated, which is located in Astoria, I believe, at 45-10 19th Avenue. This is a large commercial food preparation facility. It is not a restaurant. DEP began enforcement at this location back in July of 2014. And if you read the long and torturous history of this, which goes on for 5 pages, DEP has been back and forth with this location over and over again over the past 5 years. They have been issued a huge number of summonses, 66 summonses, I believe, for failing to comply with various commissioners' orders requiring them to install and maintain the appropriately sized required grease interceptors. Apparently they have been continuously representing over this whole period that they are planning on moving their facility out of New York City, but they have still never done so. And they still have not complied with the commissioner's orders. And at this point, and I'm not sure that I can speak for the Bureau as far as why they've been so patient with these people, but apparently it has finally reached the point in August. They continue to represent their interest in achieving compliance. They continue to claim that they're going to be moving outside the city, and neither one of these things happens. And so finally, they have come to the point where they are requesting that the board issue a cease and desist order requiring them to come into compliance with the commissioner's orders that have been issued over this whole period of time regarding their failure to comply with grease interceptor requirements.
Any questions on Water Lilies? Okay, is there a motion to approve? Okay, all in favor? Okay, looks like, are you voting in favor of it? Oh, it's unanimous vote.
All right, thank you.
Can I go back just before, I think that, before you finish, we had 8 votes in favor on the first vote. Were there any opposed? Were there any abstentions?
Jorge missed the vote.
You missed the vote.
I
Okay, so
didn't
Karen went
vote.
abstain.
That's what happened? Okay,
Okay.
that's why your
Okay,
number is off.
abstention. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, so, we have free sealing reports with our person.
Good morning, I'm Kelly Corso, Assistant Commissioner for Adjudications for the Hearings Division. And we have 8 pre-sealing reports this morning for the board. 6 of them, excuse me, have to do with backflow violations. And in all of those cases, the hearing officers have determined that based on the evidence of compliance that the respondents have provided at the hearings, that no further action should be taken with respect to those 6 cases. The other 2 cases are noise code cases. One involves noise from a respondent's water pump, and the other one involves noise from a respondent's air conditioner. And in both of those cases, the respondents brought in evidence to show that they have started work to come into compliance with the noise code. And based on that evidence and DEP's recommendations at those hearings, the hearing officers recommended no sealing of the equipment, provided that DEP's initial re-inspection and inspections for a period of 180 days show no violations.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right. Any questions about the noise or backflow cases? Okay. Is there a motion to approve? And all in favor? All right, it's unanimous. All right, so, go back to item 2. Item 3, or is 2? Okay. Final rule presentation.
Hello, I'm Nicholas Deeds, I'm Assistant General Counsel at Oath. Today we're presenting the final rule repealing Oath's hazardous materials penalty schedule. This is the rule that was proposed and approved on August 22nd. It's being coordinated with DEP in that DEP's new hazardous materials penalty schedule will now be serving the role that Oath's our current hazmat penalty schedule will no longer be serving. The proposed rule was published in the city record on August 8th. A public hearing was held on September 10th, and we did not receive any public comment. The rule has been certified by the Mayor's Office of Operations and by the City Law Department for promulgation. The final rule has not been altered in any way from the proposed rule presented on August 27th. Any questions?
All right, so is there a motion to approve? Okay, and all in favor of adoption? Okay, so that's 7. All opposed? That's 2. Okay, thank you. All right, so is there a motion to go into executive session to discuss the judicial report? Okay, all right, all in favor? All right, thank you. All right, so we're back in public session, and the last item on the agenda is discussion of the letter that was mailed to the parties in DOP versus Owen Foster, a full board appeal that was discussed in the June meeting. And that letter essentially summarized our discussion at the board meeting as to how to resolve that case, because we had not been able to have a vote of 7 members in favor of one side or the other. So we resolved that what we were going to do is to, if 180 days had passed since the appeal was filed, we were going to resolve it by having the hearing officer decision be the final vote determination. Subsequent to that, we wrote a letter when we realized 180 days had passed. Oath wrote a letter advising the parties of that decision. And then, but there was disagreement as to whether or not Oath should have sent the letter without the board's review of the letter. That was the discussion. I think that was the reason why there was a request to put a discussion of that letter on the board agenda. So there it is. And anybody wants to add or
Well,
disagree?
I mean, Shamanda was the key, one of the key components of putting it on there, so I don't know if I have anything to add on her behalf, if you guys discussed it, but.
No, but I'm glad that it's on the record. And, I mean, I don't know what kind of precedent this will set. The philosophical legal question is, could the building department ever take an Article 78 from a decision that's a final decision? I don't know. Practically, probably not.
We've had those discussions with the law department.
We have, right, yeah, so, I don't know. But I would only say that this was for illegal, I believe it for illegal advertising, transient use. Sometimes, even when people lose, they comply in the future. So it's not as if, it's an important case, but I don't know if this individual has been named in any new summonses for illegally transient advertising. What kind of precedential value this would have, we don't have to decide now until it actually runs.
Well, that's a very good question, right? Right, because we've taken the position that fair concert decisions don't have precedential value, right?
Right.
So it's, yeah, there are lots of questions here. The good news is that we have a new board member, so maybe we won't have so many occasions when we can't get to 7. And so we won't rely on the 180-day rule.
Well, I'm filling that position on it, I was told we needed a quorum, so
Yes.
I'm glad to be.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Burns. All right. So, yeah, a lot is riding on you, Mr. Whitaker.
I'll do my best.
All right. Any other questions on the letter? I mean, we really did attempt to make it as succinct as possible, but to provide as much sort of legal citation so that somebody picking it up could look at those 2 laws and understand how we got there. So, all right. Any other board matters? Yes.
One or two. I credit that it's a lot of work to assemble all of the items, but a
I know
lot of
you had
it.
asked for a week in advance.
Well, some of it, I think the agency stuff, like the C&Ds would be great.
I
because-
respect that request, I really, really do, and I apologize we didn't make that, that standard this month. We did in government.
I'm just suggesting 80-20 rule. I would bet that a lot of it could be sent a week in advance, like the C&Ds,
C&Ds.
the backflow things. I'm guessing rule changes, but I think a lot of that stuff doesn't change in the week before the meeting. I credit that maybe the just report needs a few eyes on it or something else, but I would bet you that a lot of the agency stuff could be done probably quickly. A week ahead. And I think getting stuff piecemeal is totally all right, as long as we're just clear that, and Francis is very good about this actually, like saying this is number 1 of, this is number 2, this is package 3. So I don't think the system, I think the system lends itself well, I just think probably a lot of it's baked already.
Yeah, fair point. Thank you. All right.
Are there, transparent, are there any things you feel the board should know that are coming that we should be aware of, should get a heads up at this point, since sometimes we get the information not as quickly as we would wish for various reasons?
Board matters, I mean, I know that there had been movement and discussion around, reducing or getting rid of the board. There's been a lot of sort of, I guess, change afoot. Those are not matters that I'm looking at right now. I have not on my top 10 at all. I mean, we're going forward. We're happy to have a new board member so that we can assist those who are reviewing the panel decisions and reduce the number of times you're serving on panels. But we're just going forward right now with respect to the board. So I have no news in that area. All right. Any other questions? And we do appreciate it. I get word from Tim and Olga all the time about the panel discussions and the value of having the public members, throw in, opposition when you think that there's something, that needs to be challenged or, a better understanding of what the evidence was. So, I appreciate that very much and think that that's an important contribution, right? I mean, that's sort of, when the board was created, that was the reason to have public members, so thank you for that. Yes?
We've got a new board member, are we gonna keep the 2
Oh.
Panel,
So,
Yeah.
So I think that's a discussion you need to have right now with 3 of you coming to only 1 person to a panel. You're actually coming once every 3 meetings, right? 3 panel meetings. If you
I've
can
never
go back,
done the math. And
if you go back to
some-
2
but-
people, you're going to be coming once every 2 meetings again. So it's really up to you to
The
decide
thing
how you want to
is,
do it.
the packages are a lot thicker.
yeah,
Doug's right, they used to be much
Right.
more, they put on weight.
right. So-
It's just a fact, I mean, I've done this now for about 4, 5, 6 years, I don't even know, but,
So-
you know.
So.
If you go back to 2 members per meeting, you're going to be going to 1 meeting every month. Whereas right now, you're going to a meeting every month and a half. So it's up to you to decide how you want to
But
do
it's the
this.
size of the, right, so it's, right, it's either.
I'm ambivalent, I think the board should have every seat full. I mean, as a governance matter, we're sort of
We have-
stepping over that dead body, I
We
think.
do have one more member, or one more prospective member who's in process. We have another.
Great, I think once that happens, we should have this discussion
Then it'll
again.
really be half.
And then we have to go back to the old schedule.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Okay.
Would you want to have a split meeting also to have that discussion?
of course.
Okay.
So you want
So
to
I guess-
maintain status quo until you get a
So
little
status
I think we
quo
should,
till the
because
next
having an
meeting.
additional person in the rotation means some measure of, I'm not looking for relief like this is killing me. I just think it's important that the workload resembles something of what it once was. The packet's gotten longer and, you know, we've gotten this to be a smaller organ.
And I think one option might be for Jerry to attend the meeting that he wants to attend right now, and he could be a second person at meeting that he wants. I mean, unless you want to come and be the only member, it's up to you, I think, really, too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know yet what.
Right, so it might, yeah. Don't know if you might feel more comfortable if the two member you attend has, two
Yeah, I
members
mean,
added.
for the first one.
So we can keep it on a rotation where,
I don't know, my first one, I was thrown right in the,
That's how it works.
remember that person from the fire department?
Oh, Taya.
No, Teo's supervisor.
Julian?
Julian Basil grabbed me by the shoulders and tried to tell me how to vote. Yeah, first 5 minutes of my experience here. So I didn't agree with it, but you know, he did try and.
the chair, I'll share the panel calendar
Yeah.
of the upcoming panel meetings. We have one next Thursday, and then I'll let you know the date. You
Yeah.
can decide when you want to come and get your feet wet on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, and we're gonna close out with, you know, if you all have advice for the new board member, or if you wanna sort of share with them what the experience is of the panels, then, you know, I'm sure you'll appreciate it. All right, so is there a motion to adjourn?